and welcome to the show. Welcome to a very, very silly series of races that we're doing on Forza Horizon 4. We have got a Citroen 2CV. It's in A-Class, but this is not an ordinary one. It was built by datrusskiy, and it is essentially undrivable, and we're going to go racing with it. It has been set up in such a way that it essentially doesn't turn, will randomly spin, and be generally uncontrollable. It kind of wanders around in a straight line. You'll see very quickly. We're starting off driving it in the dry. Don't worry, we'll get into a wet race later on, but you can actually see the rear wheels of Ewan's car, excited to get going. It just kind of wanders around randomly. To get it around a corner, the only real way is to chuck it about like a lunatic. You either get a load of understeer or... well, I mean, here I'm steering full left lock and it just doesn't do anything. So... you kind of got to tip it in and then hope you can sort it out. Or in my case, tip it in, don't sort it out, plonk a wall, panic, and then put foot down and try and figure something out. We're going towards a corner now. There's a lot of very, very slidey 2CVs up ahead. Oh, there's a Gliska! Crashes like that, there is nothing that I can do. I'm committed to the corner, and there's nothing Gliska can do because the car's got a mind of its own at that point. So, yeah. Oh, I'm in a wandering situation. We're going to try and get back past Danger Man. Oh, we're going to end up in the side of Danger Man's car. That's fine. No problems there. Now, see, normally my approach with these is to take a kind of careful, smooth approach, and that does often, whether it be with jelly cars or with anything, that does kind of often work. I'm not 100% sure. Unfortunately, I got a really good run onto the back straight, and then Rusky was all out of control, and I got stuck behind them, and that gave me all sorts of trouble. We're going to blast off down towards the final corner. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure yet whether to go for the carefully approach as my way of making lap speed and hope that works. Because you've got to get it to tip into the corner, and I'm not quite sure I've figured out how to get it to guarantee to tip into a corner, because otherwise you just get this absolute mile of understeer like that, where it's just not going. There we go. Then we can tip it into the corner. Then we can get on the power. And that, I think, is the way that I'm going to be making a lap time. There is the way that Longbow, and we've seen a few people have gone for, which is just the very sideways. Come on, get the weight transfer going. Well, that kind of worked. Not quite. That one there wasn't as successful. If it takes you like a few times to get the front end to do what you want, oh, Gliska's gone backwards, and that will be a position for me. That is us onto the podium now with the Wobbly mess. Can we chase down a Longbow? Oh, that's a huge sideways flick. We thankfully don't go around. The plus point of the way that I'm driving this is if it does let go, unlike the speed that we've seen Gliska was throwing it around, and if mine lets go, we're not going as quickly when we have the crash, so we can sometimes catch it a little bit better. Longbow's caught up to Impega slightly, although it's all got a bit wrong at the final corner. Come on, get that weight transfer. Oh, look at that, it was almost a sensible corner. And then we've got a lot of weirdness. I don't know if I can adequately describe how funky this is to drive. Bloody hell, it's wandering all over the road. Impega's got into trouble. Impega's lost a lot of that lead. We've got into some trouble there. No, don't hit the wall on the outside. We're going to boot it and hope. That is a way to try and fix problems. Power and hope for the best. Oh, I'm not so good down here. That corner there gives me trouble. We're going to just run around the outside of that fence. We have lost some ground to the leaders here. The good news from me is Gliska has lost time behind us, has fallen back. Come on, 2CV. Yeah, if I can get it, around the corner and it's the snapping. So if it snaps once to oversteer and I catch it, that's fine. It's if it does this like secondary snap or it's twitching back on itself. Longbow's had a really bad time there. We are right on to the back of the second place machine. Look at it wander down the road. Mine's got a little bit more stability down here than Longbow. Oh, Longbow is all out of control into the final corner. I will take that position away. Thank you very much. That'll be second place for me here. Big slide. Okay, now if it snaps back to the left through there, it's fine, because that's the direction of the corner. We're going to lose second place, I think. No, not quite. Longbow isn't close enough. we've got a little bit of a wander going on as we head over the crest towards turn 3 here. Oh! Longbow appeared on the inside. As I said, a lot of what happens in this is not really intentional, but I mean, the back end of this is already unstable at the best of times. That lower gets hit at about 60, 70 miles an hour. Maybe not even that fast, to be fair. They're not very quick, these vehicles. The three of us up here, I mean, okay, Impega's lead as we've fought each other has extended. Don't flick back on yourself too badly. I was never going to catch that, so I used it's a little cheeky using the wall to straighten it up, but that was kind of the option. I mean, let's face it, I'm not the only one that's got away with some of this because a wall has been there to catch me. Longbow almost had another issue through there. We seem to be a little bit better at the slow corner. The way I'm driving this, like my method of keeping this under control seems to work at the slower corners, the faster corners. It sometimes works, but it isn't always working there. Longbow's car has a big wobble. We actually get it quite nice and settled through there this time around. We've got one more lap to go as we battle away to try and find a pass for second place. It isn't going to happen there. We've got a good run up here. Street furniture gets in the way. And this corner is where I have struggled so far. Can we get some speed through here? Not really. 50 mile an hour. Almost tandem drifting between our two cars there. This is the corner I've probably been slowest through. This corner has not been good to me so far. Longbow's got into trouble. I've got into a different kind of trouble. We've kept ourselves very, very close together here in the battle for second. Do we just try and fire it up the inside through here? No, we're going to get it. Oh, Longbow's gone! Longbow's gone! Trying to catch it. Could not catch that one in time. The counter steer did not work. Longbow has got around, and that'll promote us up to second. Let's just not do anything stupid, as I say, and clonk it straight into a wall. Impega is long gone. There are times when we were a little bit closer. However, we could not match pace overall, and our fight as well for second did not help matters. We will bring the car under control for the final corner. It's a little wobble on the way out, but nothing too bad as we will run across the line. I'm curious about the lap times. I feel like I had pace occasionally. Not the pace of Impega, that's for sure, bloody hell. Impega found some speed with that, a 16.9. However, we were the second fastest, me and Longbow in the 19s. No one else even close. We got the hang of that. We found some pace in the wobbly, terrifyingly scary 2C view. 4 cars finished. We're off to a good start with this thing. So, after a highly eventful first race, we're heading to the Broadway Village Circuit next. We start from second, which is good. I'm terrified. Well, I'd say terrified to one. Thankfully, because it's Horizon and we start in Ghost mode, the first corner won't be too bad, because I can guarantee you just about everyone's going into the outside wall. I'm going to try not to. However, I'm still probably going to end up in the outside wall, so yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be madness. I mean, I have, a rough idea as to where I will need to brake, but it just is not going to matter with this car necessarily. We're going to be nice and early under braking here, and we do not go into the outside wall. Hey, I at least did avoid it. We might go into the outside wall at turn 2, but never mind. It was more to straighten the car up than anything else at that point. Oh, I don't need a bump through there. It's the last thing we need. Oh, we have got a familiar rival has turned up. Longbow has pinged off out the wall. We're going to drive through the fence and the railing, and we're going to ping off the next wall. Sure, that's fine. Longbow's in trouble down here, I think. Where is Impega? We expect Impega will be quick again around here. We're going to climb up the hill, and we've actually got a great run to take the lead of the race. And then we're going to go very sideways into the final corner. Not at all what I was aiming for. I don't know what happened to Longbow and Danger Man, because they were supposed to be overtaking me, but they didn't. And Impega has the lead, and he's probably going to wander off with this one. other cars seem to be having more of a I don't seem to be doing too badly in terms of keeping it in a straight line. Weirdly, I don't know how. We've all got identical tune on this car. Everyone who was running sim steering has turned it off, just to make it a little bit more tolerable, essentially, driving this car. So we are all pretty much on an even playing field. There are no assists. You wouldn't want assists on this car. It's so broken as it is that assists would actually make it even worse to drive, because the game would be fighting every single bit of the car's nature. I don't think you want that. I don't know what gear I want coming out here. Oh, but it was that. Damn it, it actually carried really good speed, but I was just in an awkward place trying to make a... Well, I wasn't even trying to make a pass, trying to get around the corner. That braking zone there is horrible. Impega done what I did last lap around. Chris is doing a very similar thing. We have got the corner quite nicely, and we're going to get our second place back in all of this. We will unleash the car down towards the first corner. Impega's having a huge wobble going on down here. Do we have a look to the inside? Kind of thinking about it. Impega's not really got it stopped, and we will take the lead of the race through the first corner. Carefully does it now. Come on, excitable Citroen. Yep. I would have actually rather have hit the wall rather than the railing there. The wall just straightened me up. The railing just slows you down. So, mistimed our crashing, goddammit. The top three is somehow covered by less than a second, and we're driving these things. Chris has got up the inside. Chris is chucking it around a lot more than me and Impega are. I mean, admittedly, there is an element like that one there, for example, where I didn't really have any control over whether I was throwing the car around. The car was just doing what the car wants to do. No, don't twitch yourself. Yeah, it's the kind of overactive counter steering. That's the bit that's really horrific with this car. Whoa. It's such a weird... I don't know how to describe the way this car drives. I hope, like, visually it is coming across well enough to you, the audience, because it's so weird the way we're having to try and control this thing to get speed out of it in relative terms. Please don't get torpedoed into the first corner, because I take that completely differently to everyone else. I'm way earlier on the brakes and way more cautious into the corner, but it makes me fast out of the corner. Oh, we're going to tag the wall on the way through there. I definitely think the slight element of caution approach is working around Broadway so far. Longbow's climbed back up to fourth after a slightly iffy first lap. We've got a couple more corners to go here. Come on, Citroen of lunacy. Just keep it all together. Early on the brakes. Oh, Impega was having a look. Oh, he just about got that thing under control. Mine. Longbow's turned up. Longbow's got some speed going on as well here. One more turn. Don't get the backwards entry up here. I think it's the curb and the crest and everything that is getting the cars in trouble. I'm just going to take it nice and easy around here. We may get out dragged to the line. No. It was the right call to make. If someone got that corner perfect, they could maybe outrun us to the line, but no one did. Impega, I'm pretty sure, was backwards into the final corner. Longbow with fastest lap, not surprised by that. Longbow found some speed in that car to climb back up through the field. Admittedly, I was playing a little bit more protect my position at the end there because I had something to lose, but still, that's a quick lap, 107.1. Dangerman also pretty quick further back as well in that one. That was an incredibly close, a really good race for what are completely out of control vehicles. We are heading next to the Greendale Club Circuit. Hopefully I can have another strong performance here with the city car. We're starting back more in mid-pack. This track's a little bit different to the previous ones. We have raced around as more high-speed corners here. The last two circuits were kind of a bit more stop-start corners. This one, yeah, we've got some faster turns that are going to be a serious concern for the 2CV. For all of us, pretty much. Don't know how it's going to react. We're going to do our very best, though, to keep it under control and hopefully make our way up through the field. Gliska's got a really good start. We've not got a bad one, that's for sure. Gliska's in the wall a little bit. A few cars further back. I have got it wrong. Chris is sliding around. Speed Beast is going to make up some position on the outside. Longbow's also had a good start from further back. I saw Impega at some point. Oh, there is Impega's here. Impega was around somewhere. Has chucked it about very sideways. And it's come out a second. Longbow gets the best run through there. I was trying to follow that sort of idea Longbow had. I just didn't get my car in the right place at the right time for that one. This next corner is going to be horrible. I'm going to be early on the brakes down here. I'm waiting for an accidental torpedo probably, but still half expecting it. Oh dear. I don't know how much of that was a push from me, didn't help, and how much of that was just Longbow going to be going very sideways anyway, because I mean these things do naturally go really sideways. It would have been the lightest of contact by me, but it doesn't take much to upset what is already a very, very difficult to drive car. Right, get onto the straight. Here we go. I don't know what the top speed is going to be like down here. Probably quite a lot. It's got nearly 700 horsepower, this thing. Oh, there we go. Our first little bobble. Front end does lift up going over the crest there. Where do I brake? No idea. I braked what I thought was quite nice and early. We struggled for control. It could have been worse. I mean, the downside of being the leader there is we were very much the guinea pig. No one has got to that corner at full racing speed before, so no one really knows what's going on. And if you're further back in the pack, you can kind of judge based on what you see other cars doing. And Pega, well, on our screen, Pega missed the checkpoint, but that's some Forza Desync for you. It's obviously fine, has got away with it. Is very much going right into a left-hander. That is not what you want. Can tell you now, that is not the angle you want your car to be pointing at. Oh, we're going to end up with that. Well, we caught the slide and we didn't have the car flick too far back. Yeah, the real trick with this is to catch it sliding without overcorrecting, and that's very difficult to do because once the weight transfer starts wiggling around, it really does want to overcorrect and get all twitchy and just go completely out of control. So that is, I think, the knack to getting some speed out of this car. Now we've got a little gap over Impega, a little bit more comfortable margin back to Longbow, and then Speedbeast is sat in 4th at the moment. We're going to go early on the brakes into turn 1, try and control this thing. Okay, a lot of sliding through turn 1. Longbow's made up some time back there. I think it's going to come down to us 3 again for the race victory, unless madness happens, unless someone finds crazy amounts of speed further back, always possible, or one of us misses a checkpoint. Also, let's face it, quite plausible. The cars are not what I would call easy to drive. It's just very... I'm going back to my previous approaches that have been more of a cautious, just keep it on the tarmac kind of approach. It doesn't always work. You still occasionally just get speared off towards the wall, but as I said in the first race, if we're going that little bit slower through some of these corners, if we do have a crash, the crash isn't as bad as if we're going very quickly. In some ways. Now, we can still get into trouble like that. I've got to get it back under control now for the run to the line. We've got one more lap to go. What is the gap? Bigger than I expected, actually. What, a 2-second gap going on. Oh, we will slow this down. And then struggle for control. I have a feeling Impega was either much braver on the brakes than I, or ended up in the wall. Made a big chunk of time into turn 1, but I'm so busy fighting my own car, can't really look back. Our turn to go right into a left-hander, although I think Impega has spun by the looks of it. Just saw the dot stationary on the map. That would be my best guess as to what happened. I would normally be looking back to provide commentary and to see where cars are that I'm racing, but this thing is so difficult to drive, I can't take my eyes off the road. God, I've got to have full concentration on what I'm doing with my car here. We've got a couple more corners to go. We have actually got a quite sensible gap back to Longbow. I can't see the dot on the mini-map. That fills me with some confidence. It means I don't have to be leery through these final couple of corners. I mean, it's going to be sideways. It's going to be a bit wobbly because that's just how the car is. But I don't have to do anything too stupid. We can afford to get the car settled before I get on the power. We're miles clear of everybody. Obviously, they were pushing hard to try and catch up and made mistakes. Oh, I mean, we got pushed the whole way. The margin of victory is going to be impressive on that one, but that doesn't really tell the whole story. We win by 7 seconds in the end. However, we were pushed hard for a lot of that race. mistakes on the final lap. As I'm pretty sure Impega spun, and I would presume a similar thing happened to Longbow in that one. Danger Man ends up 4th ahead of Speed Beast. We get fastest lap in this one. Only just. Ewan got a very quick lap, and so did Ninetales down there in 8th. Yeah. I mean, so far, we've done pretty well with this car. And so, for our final race, I have been decidedly mean. I've also just seen the terrifying car. I don't know who has got the Mr. Blobby car. That's horrifically scary. We come to Ambleside, one of the nastiest, twistiest, most difficult to drive circuits, especially with a car like this that doesn't turn. And of course, it's in the pouring rain, which is going to mean that these will fall over, because the joy of Forza physics, for whatever reason, is that in the dry, cars will go on 2 wheels but never really fall over. They can, but through grip rolling we're talking here. In the rain, that's a completely different story. So this is not going to turn, then it's going to turn in, and then it's going to fall over, as Speed Beast has almost amply demonstrated. I think the way to get pace out of the car is going to be the same as I was doing beforehand, because the way that I was driving it before is also quite good at counteracting the rolling, because I think the rolling, if this goes, it's going to be a very sudden snap. It's going to go on its side and fall over very quickly. The fact that it doesn't have a lot of steering for a while is kind of good in terms of it being a jelly car and falling over. It does kind of stop some of the worst of it. Oh, we're going to have a little sneaky dive bomb up the inside there to take the lead of the race here. Oh, come on now. Here we go. We've got the vehicle under control. Heading towards these next final couple of corners. It's me, Longbow and Impega up at the front. Gliska is in 4th. Oh, Longbow's fallen over. I'm going very sideways into the penultimate corner, and now we've fallen over. Oh dear. Was going, can we reset? Thank you. It was going well for me, and then it wasn't. I thought we were going to, so the reason I sort of slightly lowered my guard, in general, with jelly cars and with this car, if a vehicle is sliding, it's not going to grip roll. So the vehicle's sliding around a corner, it doesn't really grip roll in the same way. So because I'd slid into that corner, I wasn't expecting the roll to happen. And I think just the weight transfer got the better of it. It got the better of me as well, and it suddenly found grip, and then it was up on its side, and I just wasn't prepared for that. So we've lost a big chunk of time. This is not over. I mean, yes, these are short races, however, a lot goes on in them. It's definitely not over yet. We can hopefully go and hunt down the front two. I mean, can they make it to the end of the race without falling over? Who knows? They may well choose, and it would be sensible to drive a more controlled race. Drive a more sensible race. You don't necessarily need to push as hard. Certainly if you're Impega up at the front, maybe don't do anything stupid with the car. I mean, we are actually catching, surprisingly, but we may still run out of laps. Anyway, we've got to catch an awful lot of time per lap if we're going to do this. The car almost slides through there. It's not as bad with the falling over as I was expecting it to be. We've had an absolutely ridiculous lap here. We've made huge amounts of time. The gap to Impega is down to 4.4 seconds, and then we've overdone it. Come on, land on the wheels! The thing is, I had to drive it like that because I just didn't have the time. We made up... Oh, come on, go. We made up a lot of lap time by driving it like that, but that's the risk. The risk you have to take in trying to catch up. I will still take that risk. Yes, we fell over. I'm annoyed at myself that we fell over, we rolled the car, but I'm 100% going to push it that hard, because there was a chance. There was a chance for a victory in that if we got it all perfect. And, you know, yeah, we could have cruised around and probably got a second from Gliska. But yeah, I will take the gamble and just go for it. Annoying that is how it has gone, however, that is racing. We still might get on the podium if we can find a way past Danger Man here. And you never know, if Gliska runs into trouble, we may be able to get a second place. We move up into third now, and Danger Man has fallen over behind us. There are quite a few vehicles that have had trouble around here, shall we say, in that we're going on to the final lap of the race now. We and Stevie's rolled out of 9th. We have lapped up to 9th place, and 8th is not far ahead. Is that... oh, Impega has fallen over. Impega has lost the lead of the race. There is Ewan fallen over out of 8th. Yeah, Impega has lost the lead of the race. So, I mean, now, like you see here, I think, well, maybe I should have been more sensible. It's Ninetales driving the horrific Mr. Blobby car. Yeah, you know, maybe, should I have been more sensible? Maybe, but I wasn't to know. It was always... Well, I would still stand by, I've got to drive the wheels off the car. When we were making that much time up, sort of closing the gap, I think it was worth to go for it. Oh, Gliska's fallen over. I've fallen over. Got a slightly panicked with the car suddenly appearing out of ghost mode. Yeah, I mean, we 100% had the pace. If I could have held it together and not made any mistakes, we were phenomenally quick. But to drive it at that pace, I ended up taking a more high-risk strategy than I would normally do, but it's fine. It's jelly car racing. It looks like Impega won by a tenth of a second. Speed Beast has done an impressive flip, actually. We will put a lap on that, but that was an excellent flip. Well done. We caught it on camera as well. Always good. Always good. If you're going to have a spectacular crash, make sure it happens on camera. But there we go. Yeah, fastest lap would go to us just. I think we had a clean lap the whole way round at one point, but yeah, Gliska very unlucky. Inherited the lead when Impega made a mistake, but then a mistake on the final lap. Yeah, we had a lot of pace, but silly errors by me. One slight lack of concentration towards the end of the race, and yeah, one just pushing too hard early on led to us slightly losing out. I'd still say a good overall result for me in the Wacky 2CV, with 2 wins, a second and a third, I think. I think I got that one. I think that's the amount we got. But there we go. That was some good fun. Very, very difficult to drive car. Very silly, but we had some really entertaining racing from all of that. So a big thank you to Ruskiy for building this vehicle. It can be found on the share front. I'll put the information for it in the description of the video if you want to download it and have a go with it yourself. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.